How are you?
Great. How are
Welcome
you doing?
to the White House.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Thank you. We're very, very grateful that we have this opportunity.
Thanks.
We truly appreciate it. De veras apreciamos the invitation to your house.
No, the people's house.
Yes, indeed, the people's house. But it's been 100 days already. Do you feel like this is home for you?
I do. I do feel like this is home for us. And so we bring our kids, we bring our dogs, we have our grandkids here. You know, my grandkids were here last night, so it's, feeling like home.
Wonderful. And of course, this is a familiar place for you because you've been here before, but now it's different.
It's a lot different. I didn't think it would be so different from being second lady as first lady, but it is a lot different because, of course, we didn't live here before, and it wasn't really ours, but now I can, do the gardens, or walk into the gardens, and it just feels, I don't know, it has a beautiful pool, and just the grounds, the trees are beautiful, as you can see as you walk around. And we have an area outside for our dogs now, and so, there's just beauty everywhere you look.
So when you talk about dogs, we know that you have Major in town. How is Major doing? We know he had some issues adapting.
Yes, so he's doing better, and it was, it was a lot for him. And he's my rescue, and he's sort of my baby. And, I feel like I need to take extra special care of him because Champ's 13, and he's the big brother. But, the little one, I mean, he's a German Shepherd, he's not so little, but in my heart, he's a little dog. And so I take, I'm the one who feeds them and walks them. And so, you know how it feels. They're part of our family.
Indeed, indeed. And talking about family, how's your husband doing, Mr. President?
He's doing great. Today or tomorrow marks the 100 days that we've been in office. It's a big milestone, and I'm so proud of everything he's done, and I feel like he's really changed this country, and I feel that he's given people hope. And so he has his big speech tonight, and I look forward to that. So
we're all looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about you, Dr. Biden, because you're also making history as the first lady with a doctorate's degree and the first lady with a job outside of the White House teaching, of course, because you're devoted to your students. So how do you manage that plus family?
Well, I think I'm like every other woman who's balancing family and a career and doing the things that you love to do anyway, whatever that turns out to be. But I feel like, women have to manage it, right? We're sort of, we oversee the family. We're the one making the dentist appointments and making sure we have whatever on the table, food for dinner. And so I don't know. I think I'm used to doing it. I mean, I don't know how well your viewers know me, but we have 3 children. And one of my children died from cancer. And we have 6 grandchildren, from 27 all the way down to 1. Yeah. And so I'm a mom, I'm a grandmom, and I'm a teacher. And I think women play so many different roles. And I think that's what we do, right?
Yes, exactly. And we know how to multitask, which is something phenomenal, right? Just like you do.
Yeah.
So there is the White House definition, description of you: community college educator, military mom, grandmother, wife of President Joe Biden. But we truly want to know, who is Joe Biden, Dr. Joe Biden?
Oh, gosh, I don't know how to answer that. I guess, well, first and foremost, I think I'm a mom. And I'm a grandmom, an educator. I teach English. I've taught for 36 years. And I'm First Lady. So I guess that's my identity.
Have you been able to accomplish all the goals that you set for your first 100 days?
You know, I really have, because I was very focused, and when we came into office, I knew exactly what I wanted to do and what I wanted to focus on, and that was education, cancer, military families, community colleges, and so I have. And another thing I wanted to do was I wanted to do Spanish-speaking television. So because I made a commitment during our campaign, and I traveled all over this country, and I met so many Latinos. I went into Latino communities, into restaurants. I talked to so many frontline workers and nurses. And I said, if you trust us and you join us, I said, I promise you, you will have a seat at the table. And I wanted to hold true to that promise.
So what do you tell our Latino community, our immigrant community in the country?
I want to thank them for their trust in us, that they voted for my husband, and that he said he was going to do the things that he wanted to do. He had a vision, and so I want to thank the Latino community for getting us elected.
Dr. Biden, education is key for our community, and of course you're a lifelong, teacher. Why would you like for community colleges to be free and also to be able to provide universal early education for our children?
Well, of course, I'm a community college professor, so I see how my students struggle to pay for their education. And I think if it could be free for students who earn it and keep up their grades, I think it would help so much. I think we need more than 12 years of education. I think it needs to be longer. And that way students can go into a job, or they can go into a four-year college after 2 years. And but I also know as an educator that the important years are 0 to 5, because that's where their language skills are developed, communications. So I know how important that is. So we need to put the money there, and we also need to put it at the other end of the spectrum.
What about vaccine hesitation? Within the Latino community, people are sometimes reluctant. We know that you traveled last week.
I did.
And you were able even to encourage a lady to get the shot. So why do you believe this is very important for people to understand, that they need to get their shot? And also, what did you tell this lady to convince her?
Well, I told, some people are hesitant, but the science shows that it does work and that it is safe. And I can tell you myself that it does not hurt. But some people are still afraid, but they have to do it for their families, not to just protect themselves, but to protect their neighbors or their grandmoms or someone who is in their community that has immunosuppression. They might be going through chemotherapy or some illness. And so I traveled, and I went to California, and it was Cesar Chavez Day, and I talked to the women who were there who worked, they were farm workers, and I talked to people in the health clinic there. And I heard their stories, and I listened, and I saw they were a little afraid to get it, but they had hundreds of people come to get the vaccine, and it makes a difference. So I hope that your viewers aren't afraid to get it, because it is safe, and it protects the whole community.
Some of our viewers, Dr. Biden, don't have documents. They're undocumented immigrants, and they have been afraid to get, asked some questions. What would you tell them? They're
not asked questions. They can just come and get the vaccine. And they can either get the one with the 1 shot or the 2 shots. And they shouldn't be afraid. They won't be asked for documentation.
When it comes to our, community, the Latino community, I know that back in 2019 you visited Brownsville and you visited one of these refugee camps.
Yes, I did.
And you said it was heartbreaking, and it is still heartbreaking. How do you feel as a mother and as a grandmother, knowing that, You know, we have 2- and 3-year-old kids crossing alone the border. How does it make you feel?
Well, like you're saying, it is heartbreaking. And I saw it when I went to Matamoros, and I went to the refugee camp there, and we continue to see it. And so what I can tell people is my husband sees the problem, and he will find solutions, because he's very solution-oriented, and he will find answers.
And you have said also that, you know, bringing parents together with their children, family reunification, it is a moral imperative. What do you mean with that?
Of course it is. I mean, we have to bring children together, and we're working really hard. We have a task force, and we're looking for the parents and to reunite them with the children. And, you know, that is a priority for my husband's administration, to reunite those families.
Of course. And now I would also like to talk about something that you touched upon, cancer. It is very personal for you.
It is.
How are you leading this cause to fight cancer?
Well, because, you know, I worked on cancer even before our son died from cancer. I worked on breast cancer for many, many years. And it's, you know, we have to really find a cure for cancer as we know it. And so many people in our country, I don't think there's one family that hasn't been touched by cancer, whether it's your grandmom or your cousin or a sister. And I know how tough it is. And I want to work to help families cope with if they have a family member who has cancer. So that's one of the things I plan to do as First Lady.
Bo proudly served our country, and I know that you're a very strong advocate for our veterans, our families, you know, and of course our caregivers, you know, people that take care of our military personnel. How are you planning to continue that mission?
Well, I've been traveling around the country, and I've, you know, I started joining forces with Michelle Obama when we had the Obama-Biden administration and Joe was vice president. And we just traveled all over and listened to their concerns, and we wanted to know how we could help. You know, how can we help make their lives better? And so times have changed, and so now the goals have changed a little bit. Mental health, I think so many people, everyone is struggling with mental health. And spouse employment. You know, a lot of spouses have trouble finding jobs because employers say, oh, you move so often, which a lot of people don't know. But, you know, military life is hard, and I think that we, of course, should celebrate those who serve our country so honorably. And so that's one of the other causes that I'm going to continue with.
Wonderful. We truly appreciate everything you do for our community, and the fact that you actually want to talk directly to them and, you know, bring them to the table.
And thank you for your husband's service.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it, Dr. Biden. We want to get to know you a little better. So I want to make, you know, I want to ask you some things, if I may, of course.
Sure.
First of all, your favorite book?
Oh, my favorite book. Gosh, do you know how much I read? I mean, I have so many books. As an English teacher, I don't know. You know, growing up, my grandmother used to read to us, and I loved that. And she read Mary Poppins, and she was a teacher, so she had this great reading voice. And, you know, even now, I read to my college students, because I don't care how old you are. People still love being read to, I think, to hear the inflection of the words. And but now, gosh, I love Jasmine West, and so there's so many authors that I love.
Favorite song?
Oh gosh, favorite song. I don't know. That caught me unawares. What's yours?
That's a very interesting question.
Yes, exactly.
I would have to think about it. What is your secret for a long-lasting, beautiful marriage?
I think you have to, I don't know, find time together. And I think that even in this busy in this busy time, Joe and I always make time together at dinner time, and we always, sometimes we eat on the Truman balcony, or sometimes we eat in the dining room, or like, you know, so many Americans just in front of the TV, you know, because we want to catch the news. But I think I try to, I don't know, keep traditions, and that's one of our traditions. I light the candles, and I make sure I have set a pretty table, and that's important to me.
What do you love the most about your husband, our president?
I guess I love his strength the most. When I met him, that was one of the things that attracted me to him. He had suffered a terrible tragedy with the loss of his wife and daughter, and I saw how strong he was, and I think that character trait has, look at now, look at this past year, look at the pandemic, and then to become president and try to, heal this country. I think that's such an important part of his job, to bring people together and understand what they're going through, whether it's illness or whether it's loss of a job, whether it's food insecurity. There's so many things that I feel that he's lifted up Americans and made us feel hope again.
If there is something that you can tell to our community before I let you go, what would it be?
I think it's what I said before. Thank you for trusting my husband. Thank you for trusting me and making us your president. And I promise, or I hope, that we won't disappoint you.
Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias, Dr. Jill Biden.
Thank you. Thanks.